Hello Posies, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something I bet you haven't seen before. I'm going to be showing you how to make and cut a 100% coconut oil salt bar. Salt bars do get really hard, but a big misconception is that they are like impossible to work with if you have to cut them. I have made thousands of salt bars at this point, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't make them in slab molds. Today we're going to be making 2 slabs of the coconut oil salt bar, but I have made slabs and slabs of salt soap, and my salt percentage in my recipes is very high. I do use a lot of coconut oil in those recipes, but this recipe is going to have 100% coconut oil in it. So coconut oil soap is a soap that has been flying off the shelves recently, but in this household we love salt bars. So we wanted to add this to our line of salt bars. This soap is going to be really simple. It's not going to have any scent or anything like that, but it's going to have sugar water, of course a lot of salt. We've got a lot of salt here. Sugar water, a lot of salt, and white kaolin clay to give it a little bit more slip and a good feeling on your hands and stuff like that. But this soap is going to be really hard, long lasting, and it's going to have a really lovely lather. And this soap also has a high super fat, about 25%, because we want this to not be too drying, too stripping for your skin. So this is going to be a really lovely soap. So I just melted my coconut oil. I have a 5-gallon bucket down here that I'll show you in a second. It has a lot of coconut oil in it. I just warmed that up on my little hot plate down in my studio. I got that warmed up. I measured my lye solution yesterday so that it's cooled down. It's not hot because coconut oil soap tends to be a hotter soap, so we want to soap at a normal temperature. But also one thing I've noticed with salt bars is we've made salt bars with a lot of coconut oil, and none of the salt bars have ever exploded or anything like that. And most of the time with coconut oil soap you have to stick it in the fridge or something, otherwise with those insulated molds it will start to volcano and crack. But I think the salt helps the soap not explode and crack like that. Even though it does still get very hot, it never comes out of the mold for me. So I'm going to make this, and then I have my big cutter. I have a slab cutter that will cut my slab into loaves, and then I have my multi-bar cutter that I will cut into the bars that we, that's the size we're going to use to put into our boxes and stuff, and then we'll let it cure and we'll ship it out after it's on our website. So yeah, but before we get into it, if you are enjoying my channel, if you appreciate the videos that I make, go ahead and click the subscribe button and hit the like button under this video. I really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my safety equipment on. And one of the things with salt bars I get asked a lot is, how do you cut it and how do you go about cutting something like this? So what I do is I put my salt bar and I look at the time, and then I normally cut it about maybe a little bit over 2 hours later. Never really more than that. And of course, if you always want to monitor it, because normally after I pour my salt bar, I'm usually down here still cleaning up some. So I'll go over and look at it and make sure that it's not gotten super hard in an hour or something like that, because if you had a soap that accelerates, it might need to be cut sooner. But most of my salt bars never accelerate at all, and I cut them a little over 2 hours. But so it's not like regular soap where you could wait days, 48 hours, whatever. You have to cut these within a couple hours, otherwise they will be too hard to cut and they will just break. But yeah, you don't need to be worried about it. But one thing with salt bars, you just have to make sure that you have time allotted so that you don't leave it and forget it or something like that. But normally when I'm in the studio working, I'm just here for a while cleaning up, and so I'm good. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour my salt into my oils. This is just a 5-gallon bucket of coconut oil. One question I got a lot after I started making salt bar slab videos is I'm surprised that you pour the salt into the oils before your lye. And I mean, It's no different than any other additive. You'll see a lot of soapers pour their kale and clay and stuff into their oils and blend it before they put their lye, because they want to get all the clumps out before they have to be under a time limit, because the lye is going to get thick at some point, the lye in the batter. So salt is the same way. You want to get clumps out, and it helps just smoothen the salt bar out as well. And also, one question I get, I teach soap classes, and a lot of questions I get from my students is like, well, how will I know, like, I'm supposed to get this to trace, but salt is in here, and kind of being confused about that. But salt does sink, and once your soap actually starts getting to trace, you will feel how the batter is fully mixed, because if it's not, there will still be salt sitting at the bottom of your bowl or your bucket. So you will not have to worry about that. You just have to mix it to trace and make sure that you are mixing the full bowl and not leaving any surface inside unmixed. So I'm going to add my salt to the oils, and then we're going to add everything else so that we can make the salt bar more smooth, and so that we don't have to be under such a big time constraint with all this stuff. So I've talked about this a bit, but my salt is pure salt. This does not have any additives in it at all. So like iodized salt, whatever, anti-caking type ingredients. This is just pure salt. I have some other videos on my channel talking about different ingredients and how to save money on those ingredients. If you'd like to check those out, I have money saving playlist in my playlist category if you want to check that out. So I added my salt, and I'm going to add my sugar water. Another question I get a lot is this sugar water solution. People are always curious about this. But what you can do, and what most people do, is they measure out their water for their lye solution, but before you put the lye in it, take the amount of sugar you want to put in your soap. So I do 1 teaspoon per pound of oils, and I'll put those amount of teaspoons. So you put 3 teaspoons in your water, you dissolve it, and then you put your lye in and make your solution, and then you just add it to your soap. But this makes sure that you don't have to change any amounts. I use the steepest water discount you can for soap, so that is a 50-50, 1-to-1. So whatever this is, let's say, so I would use 1 ounce of lye, 1 ounce of water, you know. So if I add some water to my soap recipe, it's going to be fine. So that's what I do. I just put some sugar in my jar, and then I put enough water to dissolve it. So I don't have a lot of water in my soap. It's just, I have such a big water discount, it's not going to hurt it. So that is answering that for people who are curious. But I would just recommend, especially a lot of people don't like to use 50-50 discounts, just doing putting your sugar and dissolving it in your lye water. And then we're going to put our kale and clay. I love kale and clay. It is just it's colorless. I mean, it's just white. It doesn't smell. It's very simple, but it is so good for your skin. I love using it in my shampoo bars. It is just a really good ingredient. So this soap is supposed to be pretty white, because pure coconut soap makes a very, very bright white soap. Salt doesn't change color in soap, and all of these ingredients shouldn't really change the color, but who knows. But it should be pretty white. So this is going to be a super simple recipe. It's not like I have to do any swirls or anything, but I'm going to bring you in so you can see me mixing and putting the lye in, and then we're going to pour this and stuff like that. But I posted a life update recently, and I wanted to thank you guys so much for your really sweet comments, because all of my December videos were pre-recorded, so I wasn't really like super active, and I wanted to give you guys an update. So thank you guys so much for, leaving super sweet comments about Mita and my health and all that. It was really sweet. And I hope to have a really good 2025 with you guys. So yeah, thank you guys, and let's start blending this together. Okay, like I said, the salt is it's all blended, every bit of clumps is out, but the salt is still gonna probably sink. I'm gonna go ahead and add my lye solution. Like I said, this is my lye solution with the 50/50 water discount. And I have made a video talking about this, explaining why you should use a 50/50 water discount, so I appreciate if you went and check that out. And then we're going to blend this until it reaches a good trace, because I have to pick this up and I don't want it to be super goopy so that it'll spill everywhere. This bucket tipper is one of the best things we've ever gotten, because it helps so much with having to carry stuff and preventing the amount of time we have to carry things that are too heavy. So and I don't fill them all the way, just because I pick them up and put them on a more level surface, and then I finish putting what's in the bucket. Here is one slab, here is the other. Now that I've got those poured, I'm going to stay down in the studio for about a little over 2 hours. Check on that and make sure it stays good, but I'm going to clean up my area, and yeah, and then I'll be back to show you the cutting of that. It should be pretty simple, hopefully, so I'm excited to see how it is. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I started a Buy Me a Coffee page. I'm sure you've heard about this, but this is where you can give kind of casual donations to different content creators and artists and stuff, so I created that. I talked about this in my December 1st 1 year of the YouTube channel video, but I'm still not monetized yet. I'm working my way there. So if you would like to support, you could buy me a coffee, and if you want to help me reach monetization, you could watch this video all the way and watch some other videos of mine. So yeah, so I'm gonna be back to show you the cutting, so I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. So it has been about 2 hours. So like I thought, it is very, very white. So this is my big slab cutter. So that is why it is so nice, because the loaf cutter, the single one, is fine, but it could really start taking more time, especially the more soap you make. So it's nice to have this thing. And one big tip with salt bars is You have to be careful with your cutters and your metal equipment, because you might think, oh, I can wait a few hours or even like 30 minutes to clean your cutters, but you need to get the soap off of the wires as quickly as possible. Definitely have to cut them pretty soon, because the difference between that one I cut and this one's already harder because I waited a couple minutes between them. Very pretty and milk white. I'm gonna put the bars back into the wood mold so that they can still be warm. Alright, I've cut all of the soap. I've just got some sample pieces left, which is good for our sampler sets. So, I'm going to wash off all of the soap off of the wires, get these clean so that they can start drying. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below any video ideas you have, and comment down below where you're from. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.